Hello, I'm team member one, Danse Nasiga's son, Ayden Abraham. I'm 23 years old, and we're hoping to start a project within Imagination. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Marty. I am 22 years old and I'm from Frog Lake, Alberta. And I am team member 2.
Mm-hmm.
All right, how did you hear about the program?
We heard about the program through the ICE network, and myself personally, orally through Marty, and that gave me the initiative to apply for the program.
And as well as through through Generation Power, myself, I am a participant of Generation Power, so I was told about the opportunity. And Ayden himself is also now a new Generation Power participant, so we're also funded under Generation Power, both of us, for Frog Lake.
Yep.
Please describe your Imagination project. Start.
Yeah, our Imagination project is just to bring attention to the emergency department sector of things when we had the cold snap of minus 50 weather, and the energy circuits were, fragile at that time. We thought of the idea of a central hub that everyone could go to for, either geothermal power or, an alternative power source, just for everyone to be safe during these cold times.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, the project itself is a self-sustainable, I guess you can say, family cabin where if something like that were to happen, a lot of our people wouldn't know where to go and wouldn't have much resources. So what we hope to do is build at least a business plan and get a feasibility study of the business plan on these off-grid cabins so that we can kind of get the blueprints made up, and then that's something that if Frog Lake wants to make more of, they can, because we'll have all the blueprints and everything ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
So really we would like to make an off-grid cabin with solar panels, a stove in there, just everything you would need to survive if the power went off or we had no connection to the outside world, because we are 45 minutes from the closest town here in Frog Lake.
Mm-hmm.
Please tell us which Indigenous community will be impacted by your Imagination project.
Primarily the main Indigenous community that would be impacted is our very own home in Frog Lake. Mm-hmm. And that's because we want to build a project for Frog Lake, but however, with these blueprints, we believe that we can expand to other nations and hopefully create partnerships within that type of network.
Mm-hmm. In what ways will your Imagination project benefit or serve Indigenous people? Well, it will serve Indigenous people because we're directly building these projects for First Nation peoples and First Nation families, especially the ones affected by the isolation and aren't as close to towns or cities as others.
Mm-hmm.
In what ways will your Imagination project address sustainability, diesel reduction, clean energy development, and or environmental concerns? I think we kind of talked about it a little bit already with what we were saying from the start. But yeah, just again, for the sustainability, so that we can our people can live sustainable if the world was to shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an environmental concern because these cold snaps are the normal now. It's a normal for a generation. So yeah. It is a concern, and we need to figure out ways to mitigate it.
And not only the cold snaps, but the heat waves during the summertime as well, and when people run their air conditioning too hard, and that causes dampening on the power grid as well.
In what ways will your Imagination project inspire Indigenous youth? Well, we are both Indigenous youth, I think it's really good to see other Indigenous youth take initiative and go and do these projects for these nations. And so I believe we're going to be able to inspire not just the people of our community, but hopefully other communities who are watching nearby.
Mm-hmm.
If applicable, please summarize what you have completed for your project to date. So far, we haven't completed anything. It's just really been an idea thrown out there. But me, myself, and some of our other people that we go to for, I guess, information and clean energy projects will be helping us for this. Mm-hmm. But we believe we kind of are starting from the beginning and building up to it.
Yeah.
What is your intended timeline of your imagination project? No, the imagination problem can take from April 2024 to September 30th, 2025, 18 months. Imagination accept projects that will continue beyond the September 30, 2025 deadline. I don't believe this would take too long. It's really just wanting to get that money for the feasibility and those blueprints and having everything in place for our community and other communities to greenlight it and start building with the money. What milestones do you intend to complete by or before September 30th, 2025?
I think by that time we can have a blueprint set out for the cabins, because primarily myself, I'm a generational carpenter and my father has a lot of experience within construction engineering, so hopefully we can get a blueprint set up for those self-sustaining homes.
Yeah, really just, I guess it's just getting those blueprints ready. That's really our milestone, and then having that able to present to our chief and council. Because we know $50,000 is not a lot, but it is enough to support a business plan and a feasibility study. Do you have a budget for your imagination project? We ask different questions based on whether your project has already began or not. I don't think we necessarily have a budget, but we're looking at the $50,000 as our budget and kind of putting that into perspective of things when we're trying to get a project going. So I would guess you would say we were going with 50, but if we're able to get more, then that could help us build the actual cabins as well, or at least one of them.
Yes.
If you do not have a project budget put together yet, please describe what you intend to allocate the project funding towards. Yeah, I guess we talked about this in the past video, but really towards the feasibility study and the business case. Either finding a proponent who can do it for us or doing it here in Frog Lake. Have you secured other sources of funding for the imagination project? No, we have not. Besides being funded by Generation Power as an employee, that's about it. Do you have a community or other types of support to advance your project? Yes, and yes we do. We have a clean energy team called LEAP, which is Legacy Energy and Alternative Power, and basically it's a bunch of consultants in the clean energy world that Frog Lake talks to every week for different types of projects. So they would be the ones supporting us in this project and kind of giving us some advice along the way. But whatever advice and mentors we can get from the ICE network, we'd also like to take that as well.
Yeah.
Please tell us what kind of supports you are looking for from the Imagination program.
Primarily the supports that we're looking for is the mentorship through the process. Just as primarily ourselves, we want to know more about what kind of sustainability there can be within these extreme cold weathers and even extreme hot weather as well.
Yeah, and I'd say definitely for a mentor, someone who specializes in off-grid cabins or off-grid in general. I think those are what we want to get going here with these cabins. Please describe the barriers, if any, that could inhibit your participation in the program. If so, how can we best support you towards success in the program? Honestly, I don't think we have any barriers besides the funding, which is why we are coming to Imagination, so that we can get a project going like this with that type of money. We did have other projects in mind, but those are other initiatives already happening by Frog Lake, and with 50,000 you can only do so much. So this is kind of what we planned with the 50,000.
Yeah.
We're hoping to continue to plan.
Yeah, for sure.
This talks about Generation Power. If you're interested, yeah, we are both participants in Generation Power, so you can say we already are interested in the program.
Yes.